Hi all, welcome to another chess24 Banter Blitz. Just waiting for my preview to start. So it's approaching 11:30 AM. Okay, before we get into the games, you can use this amazing voucher code Kingscrusher for 15% off premium. If you want to go premium, you could just go to chess24.com/premium, enter the voucher code Kingscrusher, and you get that amazing 15% off. So you can get to play the likes of the World Chess Champion, Magnus Carlsen, top grandmasters generally, international masters, celebrities, etc. Well worth it. Okay, let's go into the challenges today. And the first challenge. Okay, I'll try and get a bit closer to the screen, and I'll play, I think, the Smith-Morra here. So this is a 3-minute game to start off with. So the Smith-Morra gives that little lead in development, which can be useful. I think e5 here is dangerous because the bishop f7 actually. I think this is a bit of a trap. There's no check or anything to get my queen back. It's probably a trap worth knowing. So, okay, let's go. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that is a trap. Let's have a quick check on that. Is that really sound? I think it is sound. It's just taking that king away from the queen. I think it is trapping that line. Okay, that was a quick one. Okay, Daniel. So, Smith-Morra again, I think. And, oh, we've got another g6. Okay. So, alright, so bishop b5. Let's see, knight d5 or queen e2. Is looking interesting. Maybe queen e2 and rook fd1. Okay, so queen e2, rook fd1. Maybe for e5. This looks a little bit on the dangerous side. Oh, there's a tempo gain there as well. I think this could be useful. This knight d5, this tempo gain. Oh, hang on. Isn't that a naughty pin against c6? That looks like a naughty pin against c6 here. Yeah, this is one of the big themes here. Okay, it's with check. That would be bad, I think, for me to take the queen, because this is with check. I think I'll just take here. My rook is protected by the bishop, and the other one going in here looks tempting. Oh, actually, I missed the checkmate. There's a common square here. I've just realised. I mean, there's checkmate there. Yeah. I think I was just very happy to win a piece there. Okay, checking out those common squares is critical. Those are fantastic opportunities where the pieces cooperate. Hi, Dirks. Okay. So e4 again here. So is Dirks around? Oh, 1 elephant, 2 elephants, 3 elephants, 4 elephants, 5 elephants, 6 elephants, 7 elephants, 8 elephants, 9 elephants. Okay, I think I might have to abort this game. Oh, hi there, Dirks. Just in time. I was about to abort. Okay, there are some interesting lines in the French. I'll try the Tarrasch variation, so Sigebert Tarrasch. So not inviting that pin with knight c3. Okay, this is very, very interesting, this h6. I've actually played it myself once. I managed to win with black. I'm going to try this novel approach, c4. So I'm wondering if h6 might actually be weakening some light squares rather subtly, like e6 and bishop g6, for example. That could be something here to think about. Or maybe bishop d3 first. It looks as though I might be sneaking in e6 for bishop g6. That pawn is not covering g6. So e6 and bishop g6. Is that a way to play it? Maybe it's not too risky. It keeps the king in the center. It's a bit of a pawn sack, but the king being kept in the center, surely that might be worth a pawn. On queen e7, I think I just castle. And if queen takes e6, rook e1. So the queen e7 pinning the pawn, I think I can just castle. So f takes bishop g6. Looks interesting. Okay, so bishop g6. I'm hoping this is worth the pawn. So if I play rook e1, coming up, maybe b3 and bishop a3. Ooh, okay, yeah, it's 2 pawns down at the moment. Is this getting rather suspect? Can I get 1 pawn back? So knight takes d4. That would imply knight f5 actually. If I have knight takes d4, I have knight f5 after that. Maybe knight takes d4, b3 as well for bishop a3. That springs to mind. I think I can play this here. I hope I can play this here. So I think also another thing that's just occurred to me, the bishop there, bishop e3 for knight f5. And then there's bishop takes b6. So some interesting possibilities emerging here. So bishop e3, knight f5. Yeah, that king in the center looks like a dangerous target. I think I will do this. I think taking the pawn here is a little bit, it might backfire a little bit with rook b1 and rook takes b7. But I am immediately threatening knight f5 check here. Okay, there is knight f5 and maybe bishop c5 or bishop f4 here, winning the queen. That I would imagine that's sufficient a compensation. So bishop c5 check. Okay, I can take this queen. Okay. There's still rather a lot of pieces, though. Black has rather a lot of pieces. So, okay, it might be getting tricky. Maybe I should control c5. Maybe queen d4 here. Again, controlling c5. Okay, maybe rook e6 would have the threat of rook takes f6, as well as rook takes d6. So a couple of threats there. Rook takes f6. Maybe it's not the significant one. Or maybe it is. Okay, what about this? Just doubling for a moment, because actually rook e7 looks interesting as well. I think currently the worst thing I could imagine doing is f3 and allowing later a bishop c5. I think that's the worst thing, but I should probably create some air or start that possibility. What about queen takes a7? Is that greedy, or is that interesting? Actually, there's another pawn grab with bishop f5. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about this. Maybe h3 is something. Yeah, I'm feeling I should be cautious here. black does have a few pieces to play with. So possibly rook, I don't know if rook e7 or rook f6. Rook e7, bishop e7, rook e7, king goes to d8. That might be a way of playing it. I think that might be a way. That's an interesting thing. I know that I've got a pigeonhole. Well, if the bishop leaves the board, I will have h2 to play with. And I think this exchange sacrifice might be worth it. King b8 and rook takes g7. Okay, so queen c5 or queen e5, maybe queen c5 here, rook g7. I would hope that check king h2 is okay. There are other forcing moves to consider. Okay, so queen e7 here, I think. And then there's queen takes d7. Okay, thanks for the game. Those. Okay, got a bit of a... Okay, Gerald 90. Hi. Okay, maybe d4 for a bit of variety. Okay, so d4 for a bit of variety. And okay, King's Engine. Try and play a sort of line I know a little bit with the Shirov early g4 later. Maybe h3 here. I don't really want to go into too topical a knight a6 line. It has been pretty trendy over the years, knight a6. So a3 and queen c2. I guess a3 and queen c2 coming up. Let's see. a3 and queen c2. Maybe rook fd1, rook ad1. Intriguing. There's a bit of a Maroczy bind going on here. I am a bit wary about tempo gainers. Is it possible, can I get away with, for the moment, queen c2? I think the decision point on rook e8 is to play f3 or bishop f3. I'm wondering if bishop f3... I think I'll try on this occasion bishop f3. Is that silly? I don't know if queen e7, bishop g5. Okay, I'll hold that one. So rook ad1 and bishop g5 come to mind. I thought he might have put more pressure, he or she might put more pressure on e4 there. Okay, this looks like a pretty comfortable position. e5 for knight c6 coming up. Well, actually, am I threatening anything else? Okay, I think this just in case e4 is an issue. I think I'd like to play bishop g5 just to pin that knight and maybe provoke some weaknesses with h6 and g5. So if I can provoke some light square weaknesses, I think that would be interesting. Yeah, I think once these pawns are committed, they can't go backwards. So if I have a bishop on g3, I'll be pointing at d6 anyway. Okay, I think bishop g5 here, that's a pretty committal decision in its own right to play h5. I'm happy at the moment with this position. Alright, I might want to stop bishop h6. Maybe queen d2, queen c1. Just worry about knight d3. Okay, can I... Okay, I'll drop back. So queen a3 and b4. b4 and queen a3. Maybe b4 is a little bit weakening. Maybe queen... I don't know about queen a3. Let's see. Can I actually improve the position slightly without compromising it too much? Huh. That's the trick. I don't know. b4, I'm leaving weaknesses. Maybe d6 could be a target. Hold on, let's try and brew something up against d6, just gently, because anytime I play b4, c4 is weakened. I might regret that. Also, I might regret the rook is in line with the queen here. Maybe that's asking for a little bit of tactical trouble, like now. Yes. Okay. Mind you, I think there are some other things going on. Or not. Ooh. Alright, I'll try and get some... there's no real exposure against my opponent's position, is there? C takes? I'm going to be testing horrible things soon, I believe. Like knight d3 and knight b3. I think there's going to be a horrible tactical test very shortly here in this position with that rook against my queen. Okay. Can I survive that? I don't know. I'll try and see. Knight d3, queen d1, knight e1, queen e1. I think bishop d4. There's rook d4 for a moment. Okay. There's no rook c2. Okay. I can grab a lot of pieces for the queen here with bishop takes. Maybe I should just absorb that as a queen sack. I think I will. Hoping this is not crazy. It's 3 pieces for a queen. Rook c7. My back row might be weak. Hold on a sec. I think I should just strengthen the position somehow. Maybe knight f3, knight g5. Or knight f3, bishop d4. I think that's more to the point. Try and weaken the opponent's king with bishop d4 and not neglect my back row. So I think bishop d4 coming up. So I think bishop g7 and rook d7 coming up. Right, there's a check here. Okay. I get this tempo gainer. I think rook e1, there's knight takes e1. I think I want to try for knight g5, or is there a target in g6 in its own right? Knight g5. Let's see what happens on knight g5. Knight e6 could be winning material with knight f4. I think this is interesting to win material with knight takes f4. Okay, I'll try and fix down, I think, the g-pawn. So knight h3, knight g5 would give me rook d8. So I'll be threatening rook h. Okay. Bishop g8 here. bit tricky. I can play a check. Let's take that guy out. I'm going to check again. Okay, I think there was compensation there. Very interesting. I think there was compensation. Hi, Shilling. Hi all. Okay. Okay, Olaf. Okay, let's see. E4, D4. I think maybe D4. And I think I've got a system, a gambit system I sometimes reel out, which I don't think many people prepare against this speculation, this speculative gambit. Queen C2 and E4, bit of a speculative gambit. So I'll drag my queen back and then play B3, I think. Okay, Queen C2. Okay, so Rook AD1, Rook FE1. This looks very natural stuff at the moment. Just to try and tie down C5 and E5. But, you know, yeah, he can be really super annoying here. I think he's going to play C5 anyway. I've got no A3 here. There are definitely perks to this battery. There's no A3. C5 I have to be careful with. Maybe Queen B1, I'm not sure. Olaf is a dangerous opponent. Didn't he beat me last week as well? Didn't he crush me? I want to put that out of my mind now. No. Positive. Take out the negative thoughts. Positive. Okay, so C5, D5. C5, D5, is that possible? Knight E5 pins down the C6 pawn. I think I'll use that. As in this Nimzovich game, which Simish against Nimzovich, which was a disaster for white. But I think Knight E5 was a decent move if it had a decent follow-up. That's what I believe at the moment anyway. Okay, so here I think that as long as I have a decent follow-up and keep this pawn pinned, the open centerness... Oh! Can I put the rook here out of harm's way or not? Okay. So F4, getting aggressive here. Will I regret this? Hang on, what about some preparation? Put the king here for F4. Some preparation. Mind you, the way I'm playing it, he's going to grab the C5 square. D takes, he grabs that C5 square. What about if I just take with the rook? I don't want the C5 pivot given to black free of charge necessarily. So the pawn is nicely controlling C5 right now. He's a little bit tied down. He could play bishop A8, unpin C6, and then play C5. In the meantime, I have to brew something up, I think in relation to D5, liberating the bishop. So let's imagine bishop A8 unpinning, rook FE1, C5, D5, ED, CD, knight D5. I think I've got that under control a little bit. Well, I'm going to be testing him. He could play C5. I haven't got any major tactic, I believe. But, I don't know, it's worth checking out. The pieces seem okay. I haven't given up any major squares just yet, like C5. Oh, that's an interesting one. Can I not just blunt that bishop? That seems strategically suspect a little bit. It gives... Okay, D5 there. But it does seem a little bit strategically suspect. Let's try and play for B4. This bishop is not... I can imagine this bishop not being the happiest bishop ever. Maybe queen. Okay, I'll stop that bishop from using a6 even. In fact, this gives me bishop d3, bishop h7 as a forcing move to make note of. At some point, this forcing move could be devastating under the right conditions. I think forcing moves are essentially, you can consider them a kind of downside of the opponent's position. You just need to pounce on them in the right configuration. I think their very existence represents a downside. But yeah, maybe I can put the bishop on this diagonal for a moment. Okay, so rook e3, hang on, is there knight g4 talking of forcing moves? Or rook c5 coming up? It's getting pretty interesting. Okay, he might do an exchange sack. I'm keeping an eye on a6, trying to keep this bishop a prisoner in this position. Maybe bishop c4 coming up is the way to play it. Just ask this rook to go back. In fact, can I outrage the clamp down? Oh! Well, there's tactics in the d5 and bishop f6. There's no knight g4 yet. d5 immediately threatens bishop f6. So ed bishop f6. And he's got rook h3. Oh, he's got rook h3 and then e takes and then... Oh, that's a bit nasty, isn't it? Ah! Ah, okay. He's scaling my king here. This is not very nice. g4 then. I'm going to ask him... Oh, this has got a bit crazy now. I am protecting h3. There's knight g4. Alright, I wanted to play this initially. I'm probably nearly winning material. Rook g6, bishop d3. Right, so he's offering that exchange. It would relieve that bishop. I think I'd like to be more sadistic than that if possible. I work hard at being sadistic. Rook e5, or is that too sadistic? Am I just giving him peace play or not? What about this? Just to keep this bishop locked and use the f file. Well, he's giving up the exchange anyway. Okay. Queen e3. I want to play rook e2. Maybe g5 coming up. Okay, he's got a bit of play here. That's a bit scary. Is g5 viable? There's no knight g4 just yet, is there? There is knight h5. On knight h5, okay. Hold with rook h4 or rook f4. Rook g4. Hold this. Okay, e5, there's rook g2. Rook g2 here. Hang on, he's getting this diagonal. He's getting a dark square diagonal here. Am I messing things up? Let's just try and pin down the e pawn to f7. Can I play this? Right, it's good the rook's holding there, because otherwise... Okay, can I push this knight back before it's total damage, this knight? Yeah, it's getting a bit messy, to say the least. What about HG? Just sack the exchange for HG. I'm going to play this idea for bishop f7. Try and play not g6 as well. It's a form pawn, so queen b8 is going to be dangerous. There's no queen h4 just yet. There's queen b8 or queen f7. It's a dangerous form pawn. It ties his rook down. There's a threat of rook c8. Try and bring the king up. Get behind this pawn. Okay. Okay. Oh, dangerous opponent indeed. Very dangerous indeed. Very resourceful. I was trying to just manage to counterplay to a very large extent. I was trying to manage to counterplay there. Okay. Hi, Teja. How are you? Okay, a Vishy Anand fan. That's Vishy Anand. I did a video about Vishy Anand, one of his games in the last few days. Playing the Queen's Engine in a Rapid with a superb sacrifice at one point. I don't want to spoil it for you. If you want to check out my Kingscrusher channel, there's a Vishy Anand game recently there. So he did play the Queen's Engine defense. Well, he does play. He's an active player still. He does play the Queen's Engine defense a little bit. It's pretty solid, actually. It's pretty respectable, I think. Queen's Engine defense generally. Okay, let's try this gambit system. So, yeah, the story behind this, I was in an IM all play all once many years back. And it was like one of my few draws where I didn't lose. I wasn't good enough to be playing in the tournament, basically. I did get quite a beating. But there was one, I think, over 2,400. I managed to draw with the white pieces with this gambit system. So it's given me a little bit of confidence when I have this position that, you know, there's a little bit of counterplay going on here for the pawn. It probably takes people out of their pet territory as well. The e4 square is a pivot square. H4 knight g5. I think I did get inspiration once. I think just watching an online blitz game between grandmasters, and one of them used this. I thought it was pretty cute sort of gambit idea. So okay, so you know, knight g5 does threaten queen h7. And also I think it's a reasonable move anyway here, knight g5. Just to try and provoke, you know, weaknesses like g6. Now on g6, you know, maybe bishop e3. Bishop e3 is interesting. Oh, okay, I'll go in there, I think. We'll go in there. Okay, so now things are super interesting with bishop h6. Or are they? Or are they? Mystery. I don't know if this is entering the realms of speculation now. Bishop h6, 2 pawns at least, but I'm already 2 pawns down, so I'll be a piece down. Oh, that's interesting. In 2 respects, it's solidifying d4 and giving me a4 and bishop a3 here. Potentially. Oh. Rook h8 is on the cards to trap my queen. So I might need to do something about that. You know, there is a sneaky knight d6 check on rook h8. And on king e7, is there anything sneaky there? Well, you know, maybe I can use that just to play knight takes c8 if needed. On the other hand, yeah, I'm not really that convinced. Okay, maybe just, you know, let the queen go back, you know, and then maybe a4 bishop a3. I think a favour has been done to my position, making it a little bit more solid on d4. Another test would have been just to take out d4 and just try and hold the extra pawns of material. But I think I'm happier that d4 is more solid now. So maybe just going back, you know, queen c2 without a piece sack, and then take it from there. Or knight f3 here. Knight f3. Or d takes. Maybe d takes here. Just to make sure there's no incoming e4. So knight here. I Okay, bishop f5, there's knight takes check. Otherwise my queen is on the verge of being trapped here. I think I have to be careful about the queen being trapped. I think he's done me a favour there with that check. Now, king e6, maybe there's, if needed, bishop h3 to pin that bishop. King e6, there's knight g6. There's a few resources there available on king e6. Maybe, knight g6 seems okay, actually, because the king's not in the greatest spot on e6 there. Maybe that's the way to play it. Just knight g6 on king e6. Or if king e7, knight g6. Oh, king e7, I would play queen takes f5. If he wants to protect that bishop, I think king e6. That's interesting. The queen's trapped there, but, knight g6 then. Maybe knight g6. Well, I've still got some coffee from earlier. Okay, I'm going to connect my rooks for the first time in the game. I'm happy the queen hasn't been trapped. And hello. Long time no see, the rooks. Say to each other. Okay, so rook ad1. Okay, got some pressure on d5 here. Now, cooking with gas, I think. I can take the queens off and rook up. That seems tempting. And tempting. So tempting, I'm going to do that. And if bishop c3, rook c1, I think I'm collecting c4 here. Okay, here I think rook d7. And, okay, I can take out b7. I probably want to exchange off this bishop. And I probably want to target c4 now. Or keep this pawn. Keep this pawn for a moment. Just get behind this guy. Just try and just queen this pawn. That Tarrasch rule, preserving the pawn activity. Getting behind the opponent's possible. And that Tarrasch rule is worth checking out on Wiki. So Tarrasch has some interesting endgame theories, well ahead of his time. Check. I'll take this out. There's no stalemate just yet, is there? But I'll take this. Let's check here. Take this rook. Right, try and avoid the stalemates now. I think is the object of the exercise. Try and avoid stalemating my opponent. Right, thanks, Teja. Rubik Master. I had one of those Rubik cubes. I know people could do 5 seconds and solve it. Knight c6. Okay. I found a cheat for Rubik's Cube. What you do is you unpeel the stickers and you put them back. You just as a cheat. Top secret. Okay, so if you can unpeel them, maybe they're painted on, you can't do that. Okay. So knight g4, knight f2, queen e3. This pawn chain seems to be interesting. Queen c3 threatens checkmate. It needs to be a bit careful here about not being mated on g7. That lurking battery. as I say to my students, things to watch out for: batteries and pins. Batteries, you get all those common squares. As soon as you create a battery, you've got all those common squares. Batteries are to be very concerning. Knight f2 looks very tempting here. King f2, queen e3 looks like checkmate. It's not just a tactic, it's kind of an undermining procedure as well. It undermines that pawn chain. It's got a positional perspective. The only thing, any forcing moves like knight f5 should be factored in. I don't think they work. Okay, so knight f2 for queen e3. Aha. 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 Right. Okay, maybe knight g4 here. So I'm trying to create a pin, actually. If I can create a pin on this diagonal by taking out e3, that'd be nice to have a pin. There's a couple of pin quotations I keep saying. Pin and win. And the power of the pin is illusionary. That's from Nimzovich. The power of the pin piece is illusionary. There is queen e5 here threatening crudely. Well, bishop d4 and queen h2, but I don't think there's too much to do about that. Oh, there's knight here, f3. Oh. Okay. Oh. Okay. Does that make queen e5 a bad move, though? You know, not necessarily. I mean, just because he's got a tempo gaining, n defends h2, n defends d4. It does a lot. Knight 2 to f3. I can park the queen on h5, though. I think I'll do that. Just park the queen on h5. And then try and challenge this knight with this one. Knight to e5. Try and get things going again. Or this one. Okay. It looks fairly promising here. Bishop takes looks good for knight f3. If knight takes, queen takes, check, and then bishop d4. Yeah, I think this is undermining the pawn chain again. It's not so much. I try not to consider these pure tactics. They're kind of positional because they're. It's that. Well, okay. I think it's good for the pawn chain anyway, to weaken this pawn chain. So knight takes, queen takes, king takes. There's at least bishop takes d4. On g takes, there's knight takes. So at least knight takes, queen takes. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with that, but be wary about queen c3 threatens a mate. That'll be a cheeky move to play. Okay, there is queen f4 check. I can blunt this bishop as a prophylaxis measure. Knight e5. Just in case I mouse slip later and allow mate on g7. So, okay. So queen g6. Okay, that's hanging, isn't it? There's knight d3 after. All right, thanks for the game, Rubik. Okay. Schelling. Oh. I think Schelling's rating is too low. It should be high. The problem with me setting a countdown, you're all going to accuse me of being a chicken if I count down to 10 and he's not there, aren't you? But I have to, in fairness, I'm going to have to start the countdown, right? 1 elephant. I've started late, right? Let's count down. 2 elephants. 3 elephants. 4 elephants. 5 elephants. 6 elephants. 7 elephants. 8 elephants. 9 elephants. I know I'm a chicken. I'm a chicken. Maybe another time. Maybe another time. Okay. Unfortunately, unfortunately today I didn't have that pleasure. Unfortunately, that instructive pleasure of playing Shelley. Will I be fried with Friedel though? Yes. Maybe. Maybe. I'm going to try the Queen's engine against the London system because I've been going on about the Queen's engine this week. Does it have special powers against the London system? This could be a painful experiment, couldn't it? Have I just given my opponent classic London system territory, which he relishes? He's been dreaming of this territory, this London system delightful territory. Yeah. Okay, it's a bit of a hedgehog versus London system. B5, B4 might be an idea. Or rook e8, bishop f8. Maybe rook e8, bishop f8. And if I play this, knight f6 and bishop g5, end of game, isn't it? Knight e4, maybe I want to play knight e4, queen e4, g6, and I'm weakening some dark squares. A price has to be paid, unfortunately. The dark squares. Okay. Can I put this bishop over here? Knight e7 to d5 maybe. Knight e7, celebrating the d5 square. If possible. Queen c7. So knight d5 here looks to be nicking a pawn. Check to the queen. Important tempo gain. Also forking. Pardon the French. Queen takes c3. Well, this is shattering. Pawn structure shattering. Bishop takes f3. Very tempting, but am I giving him too much dynamic play? I've got a nice blockade score at d5. I don't know, I'm tempted. Nimzovich is looking... I always feel Nimzovich is judging my games. I don't know why. Okay, but anyway. Okay, bishop g7. Maybe he's not that interested in my games. Bishop g7. Okay, bishop g7. Bishop g7. Yeah. Oh. I don't like losing the knight here. It's tragic to lose that knight here. It really is tragic. It was such a nice blockading piece. Can I just sack the exchange instead? It would be diplomatic immunity, you know. The bishop wouldn't be able to get into that knight if I just sacked the exchange instead. But the thing is, he's always got... I think he's going to do something horrible with the rooks. The simple way of playing this surely is just bishop g7. Be a pawn up. And he's still kind of shattered. I'm shattered as well. I mean, I'm shattered in the centre with the double pawns as well. Is the difference is I've got some pressure on d4. I've only got 2 minutes now. I don't know. Would he want to give up the light square bishop to do that? Yes. I have to try and win this position. Okay, there's rook c6. What about this endgame with bishop f8? Or f6, king f7. His bishop hasn't got that many squares, you know. Okay, I can force this endgame. My king covers the entry points. Is h5 worse by playing on f5? Just let him, I think I need to go for his d pawn or g5. I don't know. This check is appealing. Oh, blimey. He's giving me another pawn. Is there tons of compensation for all these pawns? Right, 1 minute 15. He has got 2 connected pass pawns. I've got one in the centre, which is, I hope, decent. But I've got 2 sets of doubled pawns, clearly. My king can participate a bit, or not. What was wrong with d3? f4 for d3? Why is he giving me that pawn? Why is he giving me that pawn? That was his 2 connected pass pawns just gone. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. I was really going to have a mental breakdown about keeping the blockading knight. Well, I think Nimzovich has had a terrible effect on my game. I feel Nimzovich said the best blockader is a knight. It's like totally having to ignore the advice. You know, that creates regret and guilt. You don't want to carry around regret and guilt during a game, you know? Anyway, okay. All right, Dan Mull. Hi there. Thanks, Friedel. Thanks. Okay, so Dan Mull, 1 elephant, 2 elephants, 3 elephants, 4 elephants, 5 elephants, 6 elephants, 7 elephants, 8 elephants, 9 elephants, 10 elephants. I think I might have to abort here. Okay. Iron math. I'll try d4 for a bit of variety. I've been trying to spice things up today. d4 for a bit of variety. Oh, Benoni. But there's the so-called, you know, flick knife variation, which he stopped with that cunning a6. It stops the entire bishop b5. Good idea. But there was a game, Penrose Towel. Penrose won it. He had a nervous disposition, apparently. He wasn't that good on international tournaments, but he did manage to beat Tao when Tao played the Benoni system. It's a brilliant game. It's in my Oxford Companions Chess Illustrated. It's one of those special games which, I don't know, I have the there was a nice thematic e5 break in that one. I wonder if I can emulate it. So bishop e1 to h4. If it worked against Tal, the thematic e5 break, would it work here? I don't want to give the rook too much play against b2. On the other hand, am I collapsing with e4 being an issue soon? Maybe I need to do that. Crikey. It does provide a target on a6. It's trade-offs, isn't it? I'm giving activity, but I'm getting a target. It's trade-offs. Trade-offs are not totally ideal. Of course, that's why trade-offs, I think. You have to trade off something for a trade-off. I think the best you can do with trade-offs in theory is make sure you're okay with the downsides, or if the downside's not really for you, actually downsides. You might have an abundant supply of something, and so it's not really a downside if you're a potato farmer and it costs 10 million potatoes, but you can create those 10 million potatoes. So it's not a downside for you. So I think when you do like the trade-off decisions, it's the downside for you. I mean, in chess, that might be, you know, a more tactical position, but you might be brilliant at tactics. So it doesn't matter. It's not really a downside. So rook a6, though, here, structurally, there is counterplay on the b file, but he hasn't unveiled that yet by moving the knight. Maybe I can play, you know, rook a6 here. Can I? I wonder. As an IT person, there's classic trade-offs in databases like caching, storing versus processing, and you just got to work out what resource have you got in abundance to help your trade-off decision. And I think, you know, in chess, you know, it's interesting, the decision making, the meta decision making aspects. So, I mean, to me at least, I mean, rook c6 actually seems like a tactical move. It's with tempo. Winning d6 makes these pawns seem a bit more mobile. The thing is, when he plays rook b2, he's undermining two pieces. This one's protected by that one. If my bishop has to move, that's an issue maybe. But maybe, you know, bishop a4, taking out d6 for bishop a4 doesn't seem bad, as long as there's no pin with rook b3 against the queen. Is that possible? I do pin the knight against the rook, but he's got queen a4. No, he hasn't. His rook's not yet on b3. So in other words, okay, rook d6, rook b2, bishop a4 stops rook b3 for a moment. But, okay, let's imagine bishop c3, queen c3. I'm on the rook. It might be possible to play rook d6. I'm not. Okay, I've only got. It's only a 3-minute game. I've just realised this is only a 3-minute game. Okay, I think I can take this risk. Can I? It's a 3-minute game. All right, I'm going to pin the knight to the rook. Okay, I'm going to attack this queen. I really should get a move on here. Although there's queen a5, e5. I'm going to actually provoke queen b4, e5 to blunt this bishop. I think I need to catch up on the clock and start pre-moving soon, the way this is going. All right, I'm losing that. I think, was there queen f6? 33 seconds. I think it's pre-move time. Nearly. Now, I hope my pre-moves are not totally disastrous. Bishop d4. All right, okay. It's 2 rooks for the queen there. I'll grab that. Uh-oh. Knight f6 is threatened. Alright, bishop d4. Okay. Thanks. No, I think I lost the plot. I did actually lose the plot, the context, the 3-minute context. Yeah, I think too much analysis there. Too much. Pretty bad time management there by me. That could have been really problematic. So, okay, master. Rubinstein variation, I think. He's tempting me for d5. I'm really tempted soon. Okay, this is going to kill my bishop for a moment. But it's a 3-minute game. Just bear that in mind. A 3-minute game. I don't think I mind losing c4. It's a kind of gambit which would help my dark square bishop if he's going to win c4. Sometimes I've played that as a gambit anyway. So bishop b2 might help the dark square bishop. I'll hold it for that moment though. I think I want to play queen e1, queen g3 coming up. Okay, so yeah, it's really gambit now. For queen g3, at least my dark square bishop is alive for the pawn. Immediate queen g7 mate threat. Oh, I didn't expect that. That's giving me the bishop pair. Oh, okay, so there's an immediate f4 threatened. If that knight moves, there's bishop c4. These knights are a bit loose. Okay, so let's put this bishop somewhere. Aim for f5 and rook c7. There'll be queen g7 after that. f5, knight e5, rook c7. Aiming at g7. Okay, I'll still aim at g7 for a moment. And aim literally at g7 now. g3, I'm aiming for a mate, self-mate here with the check. If I'm not careful, I've just noticed there's like a self-mate opportunity. g3, queen d5 mating. It's funny, it's funny. Okay, but anyway, I'll try and avoid that on this if I can. Okay, can I just pin this guy? g3 is asking, with the bishop there, it's asking for it on that diagonal. As long as I don't do that, this is looking like a decent advantage here. Rook up. Okay, I'll torture the pin. In fact, I think I can nick a pawn, guarantee the endgames in worst case scenarios. Take this pawn. That dismantles b6. I can swap everything off. Bishop takes b6. Okay, thanks for the game. Okay, smacks high there. Okay, 3-minute game. So King's Indian. So e5, queen e7 for e4, knight e7 springs to mind now. It looks to have a King's Indian feel to it, with white slightly delayed, reaching a standard King's Indian position. Bishop's usually on e2. It looks like a very comfortable King's Indian position by transposition. I've got e4 coming up. Right, g5, knight g6. Okay, word of caution here about knight f5. Maybe that's that legitimizes the bishop on d3 actually, rather than being on e2. This could justify the whole thing. Oh well, yeah, I'm justifying that bishop. Oh, he hasn't done that. Okay, so g4 to stop knight h4. Oh, here there's bishop g4 for knight h4, I think. It looks rather dangerous, just an immediate pen. Cost of one pawn, but knight h4, because the bishop's there, it's hard to do something about that pin, I think. Sack a piece here for queen f6. Enormous pressure on f3. queen moves, bishop f3, immediate threat, queen g6. Alright, so bishop f3 here. Queen e3, knight g5, queen g5. Alright. What about queen d7? Oh, there's queen g5. Okay, there are certain dangers here. Rook f7. Just encouraging to give some material back. Maybe knight g4. I think I've got a lot of pieces around the opponent's king here in this position. It looks menacing, but is it enough? Bishop f6. And so king h7, rook g8. Okay, if I just take and then double the rooks. Oh wait, I'll take this guy. Kick this guy back. Knight f3 to d4 looks reasonable. Take that guy. Knight g2. This looks reasonable. So knight f4 coming up. Right. H3 looks tempting. Yeah. I'll take this guy back. Okay, maybe double on f3. Take this guy back. I'll take now. I fence the game, Smacks. Okay. Tony. Right, Tony. I'll try d4 here. d4. Bit of d4 variety today. I did have something. Well, I had my old anti-Benko gambit system with b6. I'll try that today. Oh. Knight f3 and e5. Right, that's provocative. Is that? What's happening here? Maybe I do play my. Oh, there's knight e4. I think what I've done is a bit silly actually. I forgot knight e4. Yeah. Oops. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that was dumb of me for sure. I didn't mean to lose my center pawn. Okay, now I'm struggling. Yeah. try f5. See if that creates any weaknesses. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. D5 is going to drop next. Yeah, one little mistake. And this happens. Oh, this is just horrible. 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 Okay. Any cheapos? I can win another pawn. I'll be 2 pawns down. One small mistake and I'm 2 pawns down. I underestimated. I can imagine. Actually, there's a quotation. I think cautionary. I checked out a quotation of cautionary earlier in the week. He said, "If you believe in miracles, often they happen." Okay, there's one miracle with knight g5 and queen h4 for queen h7. Can I try and make that happen? Bishop c4, there's queen c5 check. I'll try for this miracle. Try and mate on h7. But I'm losing another pawn. Cautionized quote has relevance now. It's only a blitz game though. Maybe they do happen a lot more in blitz. How would I make that happen? The implementation. Let's get the implementation sharpened. Or not. Oh, there's queen h6, knight g5 anyway. I think that's a bit dodgy, giving up the defensive guardian of the dark squares. Guardians of the Dark Square Galaxy. Actually, there's a good film, Guardians of the Galaxy, worth checking out. It's got a nice raccoon in it. I think it's a raccoon. So queen h6 and knight g5. Can the miracle happen? I think he shouldn't have given up the dark square bishop. By the way, I think I've underrepresented cautionary on the YouTube channel. I think there's a lot of controversy around him not being a world champion for various reasons. It seems as though if there was any unofficial world champions, he'd be up there. And I think he has been underrepresented on YouTube, checking out his games recently. Okay, I want to stop queen g7. Rook d4 gives me a breathing moment, doesn't it? For knight g5, and then queen d4, queen h7. So here is trying to sharpen the implementation for the dream, I think. Rook d4. I want knight g5 and queen h7. Without queen g7, try and shut down these defensive resources like queen g7. At least my king's on h1, so this is not check. As soon as I move the knight, it's not check. That's good sometimes to tuck the king away. Sometimes. Prophylaxis. So I'm threatening f6. Yeah, I think he's given me chances with this bishop takes c3 business. I think cautionary's quote is actually kind of useful when trying to think creatively, tactically anyway. Just try and visualize where you want to get to and work your way back. I mean, that's useful anyway. Okay, so knight g5, knight f6, rook f6. It looks plausible. If queen c1, I play queen takes c1, not drop my queen. If queen a1, then rook goes back to f1. I think knight g5 is cool. So knight f6, rook f6. Queen e1 check. Okay, again, you know, rook f1. Queen c1. Actually, there's no queen takes c1. Just rook f1 anyway. All right, yeah, no, he's winning. He's winning totally there. If we can put it on the edge. There's no conversation. No compensation. I was better here, probably, and I just missed the threat, actually, totally missed the threat of knight takes e4. So I should have played bishop d2. I played this, and then look, black's better. Black's much better. The great Schellingford. I've got the black pieces here. But I've been researching the Queen's Indian defense this week. Will he be terrified of my Queen's Indian defense? 1 elephant. 2 elephants. 3 elephants. 4 elephants. 5 elephants. Okay. I can play this here anyway, can I? Maybe e5, then he's done this structure. Celebrate d4. Okay, knight g5. Better wake up here. Knight d4, AB, bishop d4, a4. It's pawn sack. Or just castle on knight e7. Maybe a4 is interesting. Then knight e7. I might end up losing this pawn. There might be some compensation for losing a4. Okay, so knight e7 here. Try and take out this huge knight. Has it got dodgy connection, or is it me? I don't know if I've been disconnected. Hi. If I type hi, just check my connection. Queen c7. Queen d7 then. Let's go on e6. Okay. Is g5 worth it? And he plays knight e6. Well, maybe there's knight f8. It's not that terrible, is it? I mean, it looks pretty terrible, but maybe there's knight f8. Knight g7, king f7. Is he gonna? Oh, I get the e5 square, knight d7, knight. There. Okay, it gives me e5 to play with. Queen e5, queen g3. I mean, there's a bit of play, isn't there? Right. I probably, do I want to take or not? Maybe we just rook d8 for a moment. Has he got bishop g5? Oh, bishop g5. Maybe my king should not be there. Okay, d5 here. Try and get to his king if I can. Alright, bishop c3 though, I should be on the lookout. On the other hand, maybe this solves that anyway with d4. Play for d4. He takes bishop c3, is that so bad? I'll give it a punt, I think. I might be. Because of f6, yeah. Okay, can I do an exchange sack? This is already a bit desperate. But my king is sliced, isn't it, on f6 if I don't take the exchange. I just want to try and get to his king, basically. That's a little bit awkward, isn't it? Is that bishop c8? Bishop c8. Or bishop a8. Just try and keep on this diagonal. Queen b6, c5. I want to be able to play c5. Open up this bishop against that king. Take d4. e3 and queen g3. So e3 and queen g3. There's rook d1. e3. Bishop d4. cd. Rook d4, queen d4. There's bishop g2, king g2, queen g3. Perpetual check, at least. Here's, what's the trap? Oh, bishop a8. Let's play bishop to c6 for a moment. So I want to play e3. You can play queen b6. Right. Rook d1 threatens. e3 threatens maybe. Oh, it's got that. Okay, can I do something about that for a moment? So e3. I'm hoping e3 is coming up at some point. Or not. Is it queen c5? I'm threatening bishop g2, queen g3. I thought he'd play queen c5 immediately. I can take this guy out. Am I chicken? I am a bit of a chicken. C takes. That is a very strong looking position. Come on, even by my chicken standards. Okay, pre-move time. Okay. Oh. Okay. This does me over, the calculation needed and stuff. I was thinking of just taking the perpetual. Okay, thanks to the game. I got you on this occasion. There's going to be lots of future occasions he's going to get me. Probably more future occasions he'll get me, so say no more. Lucky on this occasion. Okay, I'm trying to regain some composure. Trying to regain some composure, right? This is tricky. I think there's, 97 runs into d5 and d6, which is unpleasant. I'm going to play d6. I don't like saying that runs into too much, because something, you can run into something, which can run into something. Something that runs into something can run into something, which runs into something. Such is the complexity of the chess. So just because someone says it runs into this, I think that can be the start, not the end. When you talk about calculations and describing something runs into something, what does that run into? Look ahead. Yeah. It's just one of those catchphrases I've started using though on YouTube, but I realize that in a real game that you're playing, it's very dangerous, these catchphrases. That you don't want to end calculations too early. I think I can get the f5 square. I don't know if that's entirely worth it. I'm going to gamble a little bit here with f takes. So knight f5, maybe, knight h4 coming up. Or knight e5. By the way, I was checking out Joe Rogan last night, this latest 3-hour interview with some doctor. It was mentioned, now don't take my word for it, but it was mentioned about vitamin D could be very, very handy. But check it out. Do your own research. I just thought I'd mention it as I would to like friends to check out, to investigate. Vitamin D might actually be more important than first assumed. I think in old biology lessons, I think there was a simplification apparently. Well, it seems to be a simplification. It's just good for the bones. Might actually be doing some other stuff which they're finding out about. But you know, check it out. It's something which in general, during the winter months, we don't get from the sun. You know, it's the sunshine vitamin. But yeah, there's been, even the NHS website today has got something about vitamin D, saying, you know, so it's worth checking out. I don't know if you guys have checked that out yet. But yeah, there's some evidence about it being useful. I fell asleep about 2.5 hours in, though. I didn't watch the whole Joe Rogan. He goes for 3 hours. Didn't watch the whole lot, just the first 2 hours, though. But there's also those clips. If you haven't got the time, he does those clips anyway. Oh, I've just blundered a pawn for nothing. Oh, that's clever. I meant to play b5, but maybe this is cunning. Or maybe it's just blundering a pawn like a muppet. Like a total muppet. I've just blundered a pawn. Okay, it could be that. Okay, so rook f7, rook g8. Now I'm in losing swindle mode again. Great. Why did I not play b5? Okay, mouse slip. There's a sort of mouse slip. Rook f7, rook g8 would be my plan here. Let's just get closer to the screen. Rook f7. Actually, there's a fawn pawn plan. Why is he letting me have the terror of the fawn pawn? The fawn pawn terror. Terror of the fawn pawn. I think I have to go back to that cautionary, quotation. If you believe in miracles, but there's Queen D3 here. He's going to be like, he's simplifying as well. 2 pawns up. I'm starting to need a miracle now. Great, and there's rook e5. Okay, at least the pawns have been kind of fragmented, if there is an upside to this. The pawns have been slightly fragmented, so bishop d5 is also some sort of weird perk here of the position. Well, it does mean rook d6 there, try and grab a pawn back. It's bishop e4 is threatened. Let's grab the pawn back anyway. Yeah, I don't want to run into knight f6. Run into knight f6. Okay, try and avoid running into knight f6. So e4 for rook e5. Or he's going to play for rook g7 soon. Do I do something else? I can sack a pawn to just try and avoid the possibility immediately of being mated. You know what? I think I'd rather not be mated. I'd rather lose a pawn than be mated. At this point in the game. Okay, yeah, no, I'm losing that, yeah. Okay. All right, thanks. Okay, yeah, okay, keep safe, yeah. Check that thing out, maybe vitamin D, yeah. Interesting evidence, statistical, is emerging on it anyway. Interesting hypothesis about it. Okay, all right. Thanks very much. See you next week. Cheers then. Thanks so much.